Are in the Capitol, Mark. We need to go down and see the president now, Cipollone insists. Mark is a statue on his couch. He doesn't want to do anything, Pat. Pat calmly gives Mark direction. Mark, something needs to be done. People are going to die, and the blood is going to be on your hands. This is getting out of hand. I'm going down there. The TV in the Oval dining room is blaring. The president is yelling. What's he saying? I can't make it out. I hear him say, hang, repeatedly. Hang, hang. What's that about? Mark hands his phone back to me, the cue for me to return to my desk. Back in my office, my phone notifies me of a Trump tweet. Mike Pence didn't have the courage to do what should have been done to protect our country and our Constitution. I overhear their conversation, and suddenly everything makes sense. They are calling for the vice president to be hanged. The president is okay with it. He doesn't want to do anything. He doesn't think they're doing anything wrong. He thinks Mike is a traitor. This is crazy. We need to be doing something more.
Cassidy Hutchinson, the former White House aide who served during the Trump administration and later offered damning testimony against the administration during the January 6th hearings, has a book. During an interview with Rachael Maddow on MSNBC, Hutchinson, 27, offered insights regarding her time in the White House, witnessing firsthand things like the mishandling of classified documents and dealing with the leering eyes and wandering hands of her male Republican colleagues. For instance, Hutchinson has accused Rudy Giuliani of groping her on January 6th while John Eastman watched. She also denies having ever dated Matt Gaetz as he claimed, saying that she has higher standards in men. But after everything she witnessed and dealt with regarding not just the inner workings of the administration, but the continued support that Republicans throw behind Trump, she still identifies as a Republican and believes in the mission of the party. And for a lot of us, that probably feels strange. A lot of you are probably wondering how someone could see everything the Republicans are actively and consciously trying to do to this country, how someone could personally experience how vile these people are just on a human level, how someone could stand to be disparaged in the media by the same people she once admired and worked so closely with. You're probably wondering, how can that person still be a Republican? Well, I'm not Cassidy Hutchinson, so I can't say for sure. But from what I know of American politics, I can say that this country's two-party system functions very much like a spectator sport, with the presidential election serving as the Super Bowl or the World Cup. You pick a team and you ride or die for that team. People's loyalties run deep, and as much as most of us would hate to admit it, and as much as we might struggle to understand it, those loyalties are incredibly hard to dissolve.
You write about in the book repeatedly about your regret for having not supported him, but specifically for having facilitated some of the political attacks that he launched as president on people that were designed the way he designs them, to hurt people maximally and in some cases to expose them to danger.
It helped also open my eyes to what he wants from people. He wants to know that he's getting a reaction. He thrives when he has an audience. It could be a negative audience. It could be an audience that he likes. It could be his base. But what he needs is to hear people reacting to him. And that's when he knows in his mind that he has been successful to something.
So then we might think, how much evidence does one need to finally say, oh, that team that I've tied my entire identity to is horrible? If I were to venture a guess, I would say it's less about the evidence and more about time. It's an incredibly personal thing to give up the convictions that you were raised with. It might mean abandoning the family that raised you and your friends and members of your community, even just on an emotional level. It might trigger an identity crisis within you. If I'm not this, then who am I? What do I believe in? How do I be a person who believes in different things? Where can I meet new people who I feel better alignment with? One thing that Hutchinson said in her interview with Maddow that stood out to me was that she was scared to speak out, not just because of the threats to her physical well-being, not just because of the inevitable slander from her former boss and colleagues, but because she was worried that she wouldn't be welcomed by the people who would want or need to hear what she had to say the most. And yes, I'm sure a lot of you understandably had a negative reaction when she first started to speak, that she was just another Republican who should have known better, but now she wants to sell books. Why did she work for a guy like that in the first place? What about him could have possibly enamored her and endeared him to her? What about his incredibly divisive platform did she resonate with? Is she actually any better than the people she's now speaking out against? Or maybe some of you found her to be brave, speaking out against evil when she finally saw it and acknowledged it in front of her. Sure, it would have been nice if she had come to these realizations before she had to witness all of these things personally, but she didn't. There's only so much anyone can do about their past actions and failings, so she's doing her best now to help however she can moving forward. She is moving forward, and for us, that's an incredibly good thing. For us, that means that we've gotten an insider's perspective into an administration that, for the most part, has been steeped with loyalists who are either too cowardly, too afraid, or just too evil to speak out against any of it. Cassidy Hutchinson is 27 years old, so she's relatively quite young to have worked where she was in such close proximity to the President of the United States. She's well-spoken and she seems to have a conscience, and it looks like she's had a lifetime of experiences within just a few short years. She's still learning and she's still growing, and while she may never fully make the leap from Republican to Democrat, she seems to at least be paying attention to things she had previously been naive about. We're all on a journey. I know I believe things today that I didn't believe in the past, either because I was still holding on to old beliefs, whether I was aware I was doing that or not, or because I didn't have the knowledge and the lived experience I do now. And that's supposed to happen. Stagnancy should not be celebrated. You can still maintain a value or belief set while growing within them. And personally, I don't want to make someone like Cassidy Hutchinson feel unwelcome in this new space that she's in. All right, that's it for me. If you got anything out of this, please like and subscribe to the channel and be sure to follow me on all the socials. Also, please check out my podcast, Modern Context. Maybe you'll like it. Thanks.